Hey y'all, I am so glad that you're joining us this week in groups or that you found this content online. We have some amazing conversations set for this month around sacred rhythms. Sacred rhythms or spiritual disciplines are so much more than just doing something or not doing something. They are biblical practices not to just get something, but to respond to someone. That someone being God. But sometimes it's hard to respond to someone, isn't it? Whether it's a question that you don't know the answer to, or if your phone doesn't have any service and you're trying to talk to somebody. Sometimes it's hard to respond to people just because you're busy and life is just getting in the way in so many different ways. Like for me, a few weeks ago, I was on the phone and I was having a video meeting. And so there I was, I'm sitting there, it's a pretty important meeting. And the next thing I know, right when the guy that I'm meeting with asks me a super important question, my phone shuts down and sends me this error. Hazard, your phone's temperature is too hot. I was mortified. I couldn't respond to the guy who was super important, like I said, and I couldn't even tell him why I couldn't respond. And to make matters worse, my whole phone now was shut down. I had to respond and reset my phone so that I could try and get back to this guy. I had to take the case off and I had to let it just sit so that it could regulate. For a lot of us, that's right where we feel like we are, right on the verge of a hazardous situation. Maybe for you, you've been burning the candle at both ends, staying up late, waking up early, studying, hanging out, playing sports, playing your instrument, or playing the death scroll on your phone, and you feel like you're about to overheat. More than anything, you would love to reboot, a reset, just so that you could recharge and remember what your purpose is. I've got good news for you. The Bible has an incredible strategy for this, and it's really important to God. The strategy is called Sabbath. Sabbath is an ancient practice of the Jewish people and was adopted into the life of Christians after Jesus came. The Sabbath is a day of rest from work, an intentional response to God. It's meant to stir gratitude for God and to remind us that we are not God ourselves, but He is. Sabbath rest is important to God, that He was so important to God, that He was the first one to practice it in the creation story when He made the universe. And then He called for it to be one of the 10 commandments that Moses brought down to the people of Israel. It was a part of the law and the 10 things most important for the people of God to remember to do. In the same way that it's important not to murder and not to steal, it is important to keep the Sabbath. God knew that without a day to reflect on Him, that we could lose sight of who we are and we could overheat. He knew also that without a day to stop working, that we would forget that He is the only one who can make things grow and make things flourish, because He is God and we are not. Sabbath is about encountering God, worshiping Him, ceasing from our labors, and in the midst of those things, remembering that we were made in the image of God, but also to be in relationship with God. Let's take some time here and think about how we can better implement a rhythm of Sabbath in our lives, to reflect on God and to reset our priority and purpose to be in relationship with God and to worship Him forever.